Dear children, we will move on to the next category of cost, that is marginal cost. So far we have completed the total cost, average cost, and the next category of cost that we are going to learn is marginal cost. Now in this video you will be learning about the relationship between the marginal cost as with the average cost as well as with the average variable cost. And we will be beginning with the concept of revenue, that is average revenue, marginal revenue and total revenue. Now let us see what is this marginal cost. Now the marginal cost refers to the addition to the total cost when one more unit of output is produced. Now what is meant by that? If addition to the total cost is made, that is known as marginal cost. Now whenever you learned about marginal utility, marginal productivity, you came across the word addition. So that same application can be done here too for marginal cost. Now what is marginal cost? Addition to the total cost. An additional which is made to the total cost when additional unit of output is produced. So what is meant by marginal cost? When you make some addition to, when you produce additionally, some addition cost is involved. That is known as marginal cost. So how will you define marginal cost? Marginal cost is the addition to the total cost when the additional unit of output is produced. From the existing output, if you want to produce something additional, you need an additional cost. For example, 10 chairs are produced. For that, a particular cost amount is required. In order to produce 11th one, you need an additional cost. That is known as marginal cost. Now, how to find out the marginal cost? Just as you have learned in marginal utility and marginal productivity. What is marginal utility? Delta TU by delta Q. What is marginal productivity? Delta TP by delta L. Likewise, marginal cost is equal to delta TC by delta Q, where Q stands for quantity. So marginal cost is equal to delta TC by delta Q. Now another formula you have learned for marginal utility and marginal productivity. I hope you can remember. What is marginal utility? TUN minus TUN minus 1, where N represents the present unit of the commodity minus the previous one, isn't it? Likewise, MP, marginal productivity, is found by using the formula TPN minus TPN minus 1. So similarly, MC is also equal to MC is also equal to TCN minus TCN minus 1. So just as what you have done for marginal utility, marginal productivity, the same can be applied for marginal cost. So MC is equal to TCN minus TCN minus 1. That is what I have written here. MC is equal to TCN minus TCN minus 1. Now you can also find out MC from TVC. MC is equal to TVCN minus TVCN minus 1. This is very important point that you have to remember. MC is equal to TVCN minus TVCN minus 1. How? There is a connectivity between marginal cost and total variable cost. What is that connectivity? Now what is meant by marginal cost? Addition made to the total cost. Now you know that when additional units are produced in a firm, the total variable cost increases. The cost of producing 10 chairs is not same as that of cost of producing the 11th chair. It will vary, isn't it? So when additions are made, there will be changes in the variable cost. Total variable cost is increased. So when additions are made, variable cost also changes. That is the connection between marginal cost and total variable cost. I hope it is very clear to you. Once again I am repeating, when additions are made, addition is related to marginal cost. There will be definitely a change in the variable cost. So that is the connectivity between TVC and MC. That is how we can find MC from TVC. Now with the help of a table, let us see how we can relate, how we can study the relationship between MC and TVC. Now this is a same table which I have framed out for you with the output 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, same as that of the one which you have discussed earlier. This is TVC 0, 6, 10, 15, 24 and 35, and TFC, as you all know, it is fixed for all levels of output as 12, 12. It will be same at all levels of output, and by adding both TVC and TFC you will get the value of TC. Now an important point to remember is, you all know total fixed cost is same at all levels of output. So if you learn the values of TVC, it will be very easy for you to find out all the values of other cost. For example, TC plus TVC plus TFC, you will get TC. From TC you can find out MC, AC, and from the existing TVC you can find out AVC. So it is very easy for you to find out all other values if you learn only one particular table, that is the table of TVC. Okay. Similarly, you can find out the values of AFC with the help of TFC, isn't it? So learn only one particular value, therefore the rest of the values you can calculate by your own. Now here MC is derived by using the formula TCN minus TCN minus 1 and TVCN minus TVCN minus 1. Now the point which you have to remember is TCN minus TCN minus 1. From the table, how will you find that? It is always the succeeding value minus the preceding value, isn't it? So let us check. See, in the case of TC, okay, the first one will be blank. The second one is 18 minus 12 will give you 6. 22 minus 18 will give you 4. 27 minus 22 will give you 5. Then comes the next one. 36 minus 27 will give you 9, and 46 minus 36 will give you 11. So preceding value minus the succeeding value minus preceding value is TCN minus TCN minus 1. So you have learned it. When you minus the succeeding value with the preceding value in the table, you will be getting the value of MC with related to TC. Similarly, you can find out the value of MC with the help of TVC. In the TVC table, you have to differentiate the succeeding value with the preceding value. Let us see whether you will get MC with that. See, this is TVC. Now 6 minus 0, you will get it as 6. Then comes 10 minus 6, that is 4. Then comes 15 minus 10, that is 5. Then 24 minus 15, you will get 9. And 35 minus 24, you will get it as 11. So you can find both the values of MC, which is derived from TC as well as TVC, is the same. So in the table, if we deduct the succeeding value with the preceding value by using the formula TVCN minus TVCN minus 1 or TCN minus TCN minus 1, you will get the value of MC. So if you are asked to find out the value of MC, you can either depend on TC or TVC. Now with this, I have drawn the MC curve. Now when I draw the MC curve, the shape of the curve is as you can see in the board, that is U-shaped curve. Now what is the peculiarity of the U-shaped curve? You have learned it. It initially falls, reaches the minimum, and after that it starts rising, reflecting the law of variable proportion and its stages. Now you can see it from the table. This is the value of MC. From 6 it will fall to 4. Then it starts increasing to 5, then to 9 and to 11. So what is the peculiarity of a U-shaped curve? Initially falls, reaches a minimum point, and after that it starts rising. From where this MC curve starts rising? From this particular point, output level 3, it starts rising, isn't it? So MC curve is a U-shaped curve like AVC as well as AC. Because you have learned AC and AVC are U-shaped curve. This MC is also a U-shaped curve. Now this is a basic information regarding the MC curve. So MC can be found with the help of TC as well as TVC. MC curve is a U-shaped curve reflecting the different stages of law of variable proportion, which initially falls, reaches the minimum, and after that it rises. Now, these are the properties. Just now we discussed the properties, isn't it? MC can be calculated from TC and TVC. It is a U-shaped curve. Now we will move on to the next topic, that is relationship between AC and MC. What is the relation between AC and MC? To find that, we need the value of TC, because AC is TC by Q and MC is delta TC by delta Q. So, to find out the relationship between AC and MC, we need the value of TC. Why? Because AC is equal to TC by Q and MC is equal to delta TC by delta Q, or TCN minus TCN minus 1, the succeeding value minus the preceding value. Now, a table is being framed in order to learn the relationship between AC and MC, and on the basis of the table, a diagram is figure of both MC curve and AC curve is drawn. Okay, now you know the shape of MC and AC curve, both are U-shaped curve. Now output level is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. TC is 12, 18, 22, 27, 36 and 47. From this TC we found AC, isn't it? 18 by 1, 8. 22 divided by 2, 11, isn't it? Now MC is TCN minus 1. So with that we have found the values as 6, 4, 5, 9 and 11. The same table is used throughout. Okay. Now based on this, we have written different phases of MC and AC. We are learning about the relationship between AC and MC. Now let us see the first one. See here, MC is 6 and AC is 18. So MC is less than AC. Now here it is 4 and AC is 11. So MC is again less than AC. Here it is 5 and AC is 9. Again MC is less than AC. Now look at fourth level of output, both are 9. So from 0 to 3 we can write MC is less than AC. Now at fourth level of output, 9 is equal to 9, which means MC is equal to AC. So automatically you will understand, if you draw two curves will intersect if the values are the same. Now at fourth level of output you can find MC is greater than AC. So based on this we can learn the relationship. What is the relationship? If, point number 1, if MC is less than AC, AC will fall. See, from output level 0 to 3, you can find AC is falling. From 18 it is falling to 11. From 11 it is falling to 9. Why? Because MC is less than AC. Why? Because any addition, its difference will clearly affect per unit average. That is a basic logic, isn't it? Any change in the addition, that will reflect the per unit cost also. So any additional cost, its change, a change in the additional cost will always affect the per unit cost. That is a simple explanation for that. So long as MC is less than AC, AC will fall. So once again I am telling, so long as MC is less than AC, AC will fall. What is the reason behind that? The reason is any change in the addition will affect the per unit or average cost of a firm. So that is why so long as MC is less than AC, AC will fall, because additional cost is very complicated. So when additional cost, its variation will clearly affect the per unit cost. So long as MC is less than AC, AC will fall. Now when MC is equal to 9 and AC is equal to 9, see, both are constant, isn't it? Both are constant. So if MC is constant and if AC is constant, if both are constant, both will be same. MC will be equal to AC. Now the third one, after the fourth level, fifth level of output, you can find MC starts rises, and now MC is greater than AC. MC is only 11, AC is 9.40, isn't it? MC is 11 and AC is 9.4. Now MC is greater than AC. So what relationship you can say? So long as MC is greater than AC, AC starts rising. See? AC starts rising from 9 to 9.40. It is just because MC is greater than AC. So long as MC is greater than AC, AC will start rising. It is clearly evident from the table. At the fifth level of output, MC is 11 greater than 9.4. That is why AC starts rising from 9 to 9.4, from fourth to fifth level of output. So how will you study the relationship between AC and MC? Very simple. So long as MC is less than AC, AC will fall. When both are constant, they are equal. And when MC is more than AC, AC will start rising. So what is the logic behind all these? Any addition that clearly will affect the per unit or average cost of a firm. Okay. Now this is the diagram which I have drawn. You know, MC curve is U-shaped. We have already learned about those curves, and AC curve is also U-shaped, isn't it? Reflecting the law of variable proportion and its stages. Now see, at fourth level of output, both are 9. That is why they are intersecting at point A. Here you can write MC is equal to AC. So this is a relationship between AC and MC. Now we will move on to the relationship between AVC and MC. Now before learning this, let me recollect what is the relationship between MC and TVC. The relation is MC is addition. Any addition will cause a change in the variable cost, and AVC is found from TVC, isn't it? You can just remember the relationship between TVC and MC, isn't it? Any change in the addition will automatically reflect in the variable cost, isn't it? And that will automatically reflect average variable cost also. Why? Because we find AVC from TVC, TVC by Q. That is how you have to learn. So once again I am telling you, you know the relationship between MC and TVC. From TVC we can find MC. How will you find? TMC is equal to TVCN minus TVCN minus 1, isn't it? How? Because any change in the addition will affect the variable cost. Any change in the additions made will always reflect the total variable cost. If it is reflected in the total variable cost, once again, any addition made to the total cost will definitely reflect the total variable cost. It will change. And that change in the total variable cost will reflect average variable cost. Why? Because we are finding average variable cost from TVC. AVC is equal to TVC by Q. That is the logic behind it. So try to repeat it once again. Relation between TVC and MC. What is the relation? Any addition can reflect, addition to the total cost can reflect a change in the total variable cost. Any change in the total variable cost will reflect the average variable cost, because average variable cost is found from TVC. AVC is equal to TVC by Q. This is how you have to learn. Now see, with the table I am going to explain the relation between AVC and MC. Output is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. The same table, TVC 0, 6, 10, 15, 24 and 35. You can find AVC from TVC. AVC is equal to TVC by Q, isn't it? 6 by 1, 6, 10 by 2, 5, 15 by 3, 5. Now MC can be found from TVC, isn't it? TVC's succeeding value minus preceding value will give MC. 10 minus 6, 6, isn't it? So 6 minus 0, 6, 10 minus 6, 4, 15 minus 10, 5, isn't it? 24 minus 15, 9, 35 minus 24, it is 11. Okay. Now, based on the table, we will see the relationship between AVC and MC. Now, see, at first levels of output, you can find both TVC and MC are the same. You need not consider as it is in the first level, and one more reason is there, because in the first level of output, isn't it, before that there is no TVC. Therefore, you will get the same value, you will be getting the same value for AVC and TVC. Therefore, that is why MC is 6. Therefore, we can find both these values, 3 values as the same. Now, we will start therefore from the second unit. Okay. In the second unit, you can find MC is less than AVC, isn't it? MC is only 4, but AVC is 5. Now, in the third unit of output, MC is equal to AVC. Both are 5. Now, in the fourth level of output, you can find MC is greater than AVC. MC is 9, AVC is only 6. In the fifth level of output, you can find MC is greater than AVC. MC is 11, AVC is only, MC is 11 and AVC is only 7. So, just as we have learned for AC and MC, here also we will be explaining that in phases. So, at second unit of output, MC is less than AVC. At third unit, MC is equal to AVC. In fourth and fifth unit, MC is greater than AVC. So, what should be the conclusion? How will you explain the relationship? The same way as we have explained for MC and AC, the same logic will be applied here, because you know that how MC and AC are related, the same way MC and AVC will be related. Okay, how? So long as MC is lesser than AVC, AVC will fall. I told you MC is addition. Addition will reflect the total variable cost, and that will automatically reflect average variable cost, because we are finding average variable cost from total variable cost. AVC is TVC by Q. So long as MC is lesser than AVC, AVC will fall. You can find it in the second unit of output. So long as MC, isn't it, is less than AVC, AVC will fall. Here you can find AVC remains to be constant. There is no change at all, isn't it? Now, it may also fall. Now, at the third level of output, you can find MC is equal to AVC, isn't it? So, at that time we can find both are constant. Now, next is so long as MC is greater than AVC, AVC will rise. Here MC is 9 and next level MC is 11. So long as MC is greater than AVC, AVC will start rising from 6 to 7. So the same logic can be applied here to explain the relationship between AVC and MC. Now once again, so long as MC is less than AVC, AVC will fall. Both are equal when they remain to be constant, and when MC is greater than AVC, AVC starts rising. At last two levels, fourth and fifth unit of output, you can see MC is greater than AVC. At that time, AVC has started rising from 6 to 7. Now, on the basis of this, I have drawn a diagram here, and you can see at third level of output, both has got the same value, isn't it? Therefore, it intersects at point A. At third level of output, both are 5 and 5. It intersects at point A. And you can find the place A as MC is equal to AVC. And both are U-shaped curve. Okay. Now, we have represented all the three curves in one figure, okay, in one graph. AVC, AC and MC, all are U-shaped curve, and I have drawn the diagram here where you can find the intersecting point of 2 as A and B. I have written it as A and B, and in the intersecting point A and B, There you can find MC is equal to AVC and MC is equal to AC. Now let us learn the relationship. I have given the output in the x-axis and AVC, MC and AC on the y-axis. Now I have clubbed up all the three curves in one figure. Okay, whatever we have drawn here, see the point where MC and AC is intersecting and the point where MC and AVC are intersecting. I have made all these three curves in one figure. Now you can learn the relationship from this diagram. First relation is AC and AVC curves never intersect because AFC cannot be 0. This you have learned in the cost curve. When we learned about average cost, we learned the gap between, isn't it, AVC and AC is AFC. Now you can recollect it. AC is equal to AFC plus AVC, isn't it? Or you can write, so therefore AC is equal to AFC plus AVC. Therefore AFC is equal to AC minus AVC, isn't it? The gap between, isn't it, AVC and AC is AFC, isn't it? Now this AC and AVC curve will never intersect. What is the reason behind that? We have learned in the last class. Because AFC can never be 0. If AFC is 0, it is definitely it is for sure both AVC and AC curve will intersect. As AFC is not 0, AC and AVC curve will not intersect. They will move in the same direction but they won't intersect because AFC cannot be 0. Why AFC cannot be 0? Because TFC cannot be 0. That is the reason what we have learned, isn't it? Even at 0 level of output there will be a TFC. So once again I am repeating the point. AVC and AC moves in the same direction, but as output increases their gap will decrease but they won't intersect because AFC cannot be 0. AFC cannot be 0 because TFC is not 0. It is a positive value even at 0 levels of output, because you know that AFC depends on TFC. AFC is equal to TFC by Q. Okay. Now MC cuts AC and AVC at their minimum points A and B. Look at the individual diagram. You can find this is AC and this is MC. When we learned about the relationship between AC and MC, we draw the diagram. See, this is MC curve. MC curve is cutting AC at its minimum point, which is a minimum point here of AC. AC's minimum point, you know, what is it? Isn't it 9? Isn't it? So it is cutting the AC at its minimum point. Likewise, MC is also cutting AVC at its minimum point, isn't it? Which is a minimum point of AVC? Minimum point of AVC is 5. It is also cutting the AVC at its minimum point. So this point is very clear, isn't it? MC cuts both AC and AVC at their minimum points A and B. See, these are the minimum points. This is MC. MC is cutting AVC at the minimum point A and MC is cutting AC also at the minimum point B. There you can find, here you can write MC is equal to AVC and here you can write MC is equal to AC. If it is cutting at the minimum point, you can say both are equal, isn't it? Now, minimum point of AVC is the left of AC. The minimum point of AVC, this is the minimum point, this is AVC curve, is at the left of the minimum point of AC. So who is reaching minimum point first? AVC is reaching the minimum point first, isn't it? Okay, and AC is reaching the minimum point only second. We learned the reason for that. What is the reason for that? When AVC is reaching at its minimum point, AC is still falling. Remember what we learned in the last video. When AVC reaches the minimum point, AC is still falling because of falling AFC. Please try to remember the point which we have learned in the last video. Once again, why AVC reaching the minimum point first? The reason is when AVC reaches the minimum point, at that time also AC is falling. Why AC is falling? Because of falling AFC. And I told you what is the reason behind that too. AVC is independent, but whereas AC is dependent on both AVC as well as AFC. So because of the falling AFC, AC is still falling at the time when AVC reaches the minimum point. That is the reason why AVC is reaching the minimum point very early than AC. Okay? When AVC has already reached the minimum point, AC is still falling to come to the minimum point. Why? Because of the falling AFC. You know, AFC will always fall with the increase in the level of output. Why? Because we are finding AFC by using the formula TFC by Q, and the TFC is always constant. So if we are dividing constant TFC by an output, AFC will always fall. So keep all these points are interrelated when we need to explain the, when we explain the relation between the cost curves. Now AC, AVC and MC are U-shaped curves. We know that all the three are U-shaped curve, falling, reaching the minimum point, and after that rising. Okay. Now I hope the relationship between the curves are clear to you. Relation between AC, AVC and MC is very clear to you. Now we will move on to the next topic of this chapter, that is revenue. There is productivity, cost, and the last topic is revenue. Now what is meant by revenue? Last topic in the first session, producer, behavior and supply. Producer behavior will get over by this particular topic, and supply we need to discuss. Now in producer behavior we have the supply, cost, revenue and productivity. Now producer's equilibrium is deleted from the 11th standard portion this year as a part of reducing the syllabus. So we need not learn about producer's equilibrium, but we have to learn the concept of revenue. Okay, it is in the concept of revenue that we learn the equilibrium of producer. It is deleted from the syllabus. So but we have to learn what is a revenue. What is a revenue? When the producer is selling the output in the market, he receives some amount of money, that is known as revenue. So how will you define a revenue? Simply, it refers to the amount received by a producer from the sale of a given amount of output. Okay, from the sale of a given amount of output, how much he is receiving, that is known as the revenue. Now there are three types of revenue. One is total revenue, other one is average revenue, and the last one is marginal revenue. So TR, AR and MR, total revenue, average revenue and marginal revenue are the three divisions of revenue. Now let us learn what is total revenue. The total revenue refers to the total receipt from the sale of a given quantity of a commodity. Total revenue. What is total revenue? Price into quantity. Okay, if 5 pens are sold at ₹2 per unit, so what is the total revenue? Price into quantity. Price is 2 and quantity is 5. 5 into 2 is equal to 10. So total revenue is equal to 10. How much he is obtaining after selling, that is known as revenue. So 5 pens are sold at ₹2. Therefore 5 into 2 is equal to 10. So what is the formula for total revenue? Price into quantity is the formula for total revenue. Now the next thing is, what is the difference between revenue and profit? Profit is equal to revenue minus cost. This revenue is not the profit, both are different. What is profit? It is total revenue minus cost. For example, if the total revenue is 50, that means by selling 5 pens at a price of ₹2, he received a revenue of ₹10. Likewise, a person who is selling few pens, he is receiving the amount of a total revenue as 50. But actually the cost of producing that pen is only 25. Therefore, how to find out the profit? Revenue minus cost. What is revenue minus cost? 50 minus 25. 25 rupees he is getting as profit. Now let us see another example. Total revenue after selling the product he is getting 25, but the actual cost of production is 50. So total revenue minus cost is 25 minus 50. It is minus 25, which represents a loss. So what you should understand from this statement, if total revenue 50 is greater than the cost, there will be profit. If 50 is greater than 25, there will be profit. On the other side, if total revenue is less than cost, if total revenue is less than cost, if 25 is less than 50, there will be definitely a loss. So difference between revenue and the cost is profit. Okay. Now we will move on to the next type of revenue, average revenue. Per unit revenue, that is average revenue. So how will you define average revenue? It refers to revenue per unit of output sold. Revenue per unit. Per unit revenue, that is known as average revenue. How much revenue you are getting by selling the per unit of output? That is known as average revenue. Now how will you find out average revenue? Just as we have found AFC is equal to TFC by Q, AC is equal to TC by Q. Likewise, you can find AR, average revenue, is equal to TR by Q, total revenue by quantity. The same way you can apply. So average revenue is equal to TR by Q. If TR is equal to 1600 for producing 10 by selling 10 chairs, therefore average revenue is TR by Q, that is 1600 divided by 10 will give you 160 per unit revenue. Now the last one is, next one is average revenue and price are equal. Why average revenue and price are equal? How will you prove that? AR is equal to, you know, TR by Q. Okay, we will expand this TR in the next step. AR is equal to price into quantity, that is TR, isn't it? By the same Q we will write. Q and Q will get cancelled. Therefore, what is left behind? AR is equal to P. Therefore, we can say AR and price are equal. I hope it is clear to you. Now we will move on to the next type of revenue, marginal revenue. So whenever you use the term marginal, what should come to your mind? Addition to the total revenue, isn't it? So definition for marginal revenue is, it is the addition to the total revenue when additional unit of output are sold, not produced. It is not cost. We are discussing about revenue. Therefore, what you have to write? Addition to the total revenue. How much addition to the total revenue is happened due to the sale of an additional unit of output. When you are selling additional unit of output, how much additional revenue you are getting? That is known as marginal revenue. An example, total revenue from 10 chairs is 1600. Total revenue from 11 chairs is 1780. That means when one more unit is sold more, your addition to the total revenue, that is known as marginal revenue. How will you find out marginal revenue? The same formula you can apply. Delta TR by delta Q, just as we have applied for delta TC by delta Q, delta TP by delta L, delta TU by delta Q. The same way you can apply for marginal revenue also. How will you apply? Delta TR by delta Q, or one more formula is there. What is it? MR is equal to TRN minus TRN minus 1. Now here TRN means what? TR of 11th chair minus TRN minus 1, that means 11 minus 1, 10th chair. Difference between succeeding and preceding value, 11th chair and 10th chair. 11th chair you are getting 1780 as the revenue, and 10th chair 10 chairs you are getting 1600. Difference between these two is 180. Therefore, marginal revenue is 180 here. Likewise, the second formula, delta TR by delta Q. What is the difference between the old revenue and the new revenue? New revenue is 1780. The old revenue is 1600. Difference between these two is delta, that is 180. Now, what is the difference between the number of chairs? Previously 11 chairs, at present 11 chairs are sold. Previously 10 chairs. What is the difference between 11 and 10, 1. So delta Q is equal to 1 and delta TR is equal to 180. So delta TR by delta Q is 180 by 1 is equal to 180. So this is all with regard to the revenue. There are two types of revenue, average, marginal and total revenue. Total revenue is price into quantity, average revenue is TR by Q and marginal revenue is delta TR by delta Q or TRN minus 1. Hope it is clear to you. Thank you.